Hi everyone, good morning or hello to wherever you are. I'm starting another project vlog. I got accepted into MJ Williams or Ellis Knit's Westport Pullover test knit, and it is a chunky cable sweater, and I'm absolutely in love. I love my yarn choice. I chose to do Wool of the Andes bulky. What's the color for this actually? Camel Heather. I wanted something, like, since I'm fair skinned, I didn't want anything too light beige, and I didn't want a chocolate brown because then it'll hide the cables. And so I really like this color. It's in between a beige and a brown, so it's a brown beige, and I'm loving it so far. I really wanted to do Knitting for Olive's Hazel in their heavy merino, and I think this is close. The gauge swatch I just did, it is in Irish moss stitch, so double moss stitch for us Americans, on 5mm needles, and I think it's actually looking really nice. It was nice to work on. That's one thing that with my gauge swatches, I try to figure out if it's too tight, but it was fine working on this. And then it feels really nice. And then I measured it with my cute little thing here. I'm getting 17 stitches and 24 rows. The gauge for this is 16 and a half and 28 rows on the 5mm needles in the Irish moss stitch. So I'm just a little bit tight on the gauge, on the stitch gauge, but then very loose on the row gauge. So I'm going to go ahead and block this, and then we'll see what it is after that. But I'm test knitting size 4, size 2. I will figure that out and tell y'all in the next clip. But I got 9 of these, and I think I'll be fine. Yeah, this is in I am also test knitting Rebecca Clowe's mold cardigan for her book, so I'm in the middle of 2 very big test knits. So yeah, this will get started as soon as possible, and I'll start working on these 2 pretty monogamously because they're both due in like middle of April. Let me mention today is Wednesday, February 18th. The test knit started on February 14th, and my yarn just came in today, so that's why we are swatching today and waiting for it. I'm using my Leica needles. I got these for my birthday a couple years ago. I got the yellow case. My boyfriend bought them for me. I absolutely love these. No, not sponsored at all. I just wanted to show them off. It is rare that, these are just extra 3.5. Yeah, these are just extra 3.5mm needles that I bought from my yarn store because I was using them a bunch. But yeah, from 3.5 to 4.5. Yeah, 3.5 to 4 is always on my needles, like always being used. So they're rarely ever in here, but yeah. And then you got like these really gigantic chunky ones. I know I used the 9mm ones last year to make like a wedding blanket or a blanket for my friends who are getting married, as a little gift. But yeah, other than that, I don't really use the big ones much. If Leica did come out with like a smaller set of these, I would consider buying them, but I have an entire bag full of needles. Like, this is full of needles. Full of needles. Like, look at, you can't even see much of it. But if a house was burning down, this is what I would grab. And like cry about my yarn stash because there's hundreds of dollars into all of this. Okay, so I'm gonna get this blocked and then let it dry, and then we will look at the gauge afterwards. And I'm most likely just gonna go ahead and cast on with the 5mm needles because I don't want to size up to a 5.5, and I definitely don't want to size down to a 4.5. But I'm right on gauge. Like, I'm a half a stitch off because the stitch gauge is 16.5. So And I think there's like a crap ton of positive ease with the size I chose. So if it's a little bit snugger, that's totally fine with me. And then I'm also thinking that the cables will scrunch it up just a little bit more. But we will see. Okay, see you later. Hi, good morning. I just got home from work and I actually had a lot of time last night, so I worked on the back. It is so freaking good. Oh my gosh, look at those cables. Ah, I could just eat this. It's amazing. So I'm working a size 2, I figured out. I'm supposed to have about 44 inches of not positive. The total bust circumference is supposed to be 44 inches. And that's what I'm comfortable with as like an oversized sweater. But yeah, this is going to be amazing. The cables I am obsessed with. Once I got the pattern established, I already had the pattern memorized, like the stitch pattern. It is a little dense, like it's not super drapey, but that's totally fine. It's a heavy cabled sweater. The only thing is that whatever leaning cable this is just a little wonky, like my tension. I'm not really sure how I could fix that, but yeah, I'm loving it. I'm done. So this is with short row shaping for the back. That's why it's a pretty distinct trapezoid. And you do the short rows or you establish the pattern as you're doing short rows. And then now I'm just into the back knitting. And I'm supposed to do 8 inches. And I just measured it and it's about 6.5. So I'm supposed to do like 8.5 or 8.6 inches. And this is only about 6.5. So the measurements are only in centimeters, so I'm converting it. Cats are going crazy this morning. But yeah, that's the update so far. And I casted this on yesterday, so I got a lot done, which is going well, like really well for my like the deadline, because this deadline is like April 12th. So I have 2 months to finish it. So yeah, this is how we're going so far. I just figured out I have to rip it out, or like rip out the front portion here, because and I just finished it, so it's actually not that much of knitting, probably like an hour or 2, but I did the moss stitch wrong. I was like, I don't know why it's not entirely looking correct. It's because right after you pick up, you're supposed to start the moss stitch and then just do it from there, and not just like follow it, or like you're not supposed to start alternating the moss stitch on the wrong side. It's supposed to start on the right side, if that makes sense. Oh, so I gotta rip it back, which is a pain in the ass, but I need it to match up. So I guess we will be ripping it back. Hey. Oh, it is March 22nd, I believe. I have just finished the sleeve and the body. It is pretty cute so far. The sleeve is fairly tight, like that is my entire arm right now. I'm hoping that it blocks out widthwise, like the cables will stretch out and stuff. It's just a little tight for this to be like, I have a feeling like this is definitely going to block out and all of that. Hopefully, not too bad so far. Not too bad. I'm loving the cable details so far. And yeah, so it's like moss stitch all the way under, and you're doing the decreases on the moss stitch and following the cabled pattern on the sleeve here. I love like these little horseshoe cables, if that's it. I did kind of mess them up somewhere. I can't entirely tell where, but I had to, before I did the ribbing, I had to, like, as on a, what is it, like the knit row in between the cables, I just had to do the cross cable here. But I did a tubular bind off for the ribbing and for the hem here. Pretty good. I just stayed on the 5mm needles for the body, and then I went down to 4 for the cuff here and 4 for the collar. Oh yeah, I also finished the collar in the meantime. I think this is going to be such a cute, like, fall and winter sweater as well. Yeah, don't mind the mannequin here, but yeah, that's what we have so far. I'm hoping blocking really stretches out this sleeve, because I can't do an oversized body in a really tight sleeve. So I did have to go to like magic loop on a little bit of the sleeve. Had the cable on one side and then the moss stitch on another needle, just because of like it just decreasing a lot with the stitches, and my 5mm mini circular needle wasn't big enough for it. So yeah, I'm gonna pick this up today, start working on it, because I want to finish this within the next week, because school, jeez, goodness, nursing school starts in a couple of weeks, and I really want to get this done and submitted before then. So yes, sleeve is done. Just now onto the second sleeve. Okay, hi everyone. Today's April 30th. I finished this way before then. I think I actually finished this at the end of March or the first week of April. I will put up the date here somewhere, but I wanted to make sure I finished this because my boyfriend and I, we went to see Les Mis in Seattle, and I wore this. I actually really like it. It did keep me warm. It was like a cold, rainy night, and it was nice when we went in. Well, not nice, but it was like cloudy when we went in. I'll put up a photo of, I got a photo of like the sign before we went in, and you can see how cloudy it was. And then when we left, it actually started drizzling. But I love this. It definitely is a very nice and warm, sorry, you get emails and text messages, have to figure out what it is. Squirrel. Um, yes, so I do like it. It is a chunky knit, so it's definitely going to be perfect for fall and winter, probably early winter. But the cables were actually so, like, you would think that this is a complicated knit. Excuse me. Once you get into the hang of it, it's not that complicated. It's very therapeutic. So you have these Celtic cables, and yeah, it's just a diamond. You do that, cross over there, and it also lines up with the whatever the hell these are. It's early. I haven't had coffee yet. I had like a sip. But yeah, and then with a 1x1 rib. I actually really like the 1x1 ribs for this. And the sleeves, I will say the sleeves are just a little bit tight. Like this is my entire arm. There's probably only like an inch of positive ease on the sleeves. I'm in between. I like them and I don't like them at the same time. I like an oversized fit. The body is fairly oversized. Not fairly oversized, but like an inch and a half on each side. So it's not that big, oversized, but I'm coming around to it. At first, when I tried them on before blocking, I was like, oh my gosh, like I should have not decreased the last like 4 decreases because of how tight it is. On the decreases, so you're doing them on the moss stitch here, you can see that the cables super come in. And so, yeah, so this is where you're decreasing, of course. But yeah, you do decrease a lot for the sweater and for the sleeves at least. And I don't mind it. It's growing on me. I think this is going to be a wonderful late autumn, early winter, in the dead of winter, like garment. And I used 800 grams of Knit Picks wool. I think Andy's bulky, as we all see in this video. And I used 802 grams. 802. I think I only needed some from the 9th skein for like the end of the tubular bind off. If I didn't do a tubular bind off, then I would have gotten away. Like if I just did a regular Italian bind off, then I think I would have gotten away. But I like the structure of the tubular. So you can see it here. And then also on the body. The body isn't like the best. Actually, that's actually really good. But I love it. I was a little worried I was going to like match it with my hair with the brown, but I was just in a brown phase. And having this like medium brown that's not super dark, but also not super light. Chef's kiss. So yeah, I knit the size 2. I used 102 grams. Also, I wanted to mention on the underarms here, there's nothing to add stitches for, because so you're gonna end up having like a line down here. I added 2 stitches because to make the moss stitch seamless in the body. So that's something I did. You can also find my Ravelry page, and I also mentioned that. And for this, there's nothing for a sleeve stitch pickup in the pattern. So I found a 4 out of 5 stitch ratio worked really well. And you can see that there's no bunching, there's no pulling. I really like it. I also made the mistake of not adding, like the first 2 rows you're supposed to cable right here. I accidentally didn't, and so I just followed that on this one. And then somehow one of the sleeves I had to do an extra like cable here, I think it is, but then in this one it worked out fine. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if I'm shorter on the sleeve than this one, but they seem fine, like they seem equal. So I have no idea. I am just now noticing that it's a little bit itchy on my neck, but I mean, we all suffer for our art. So it's actually not that bad on my arms right now, and I do have some sensitive skin and like some eczema going on my skin, so that's actually good. It's just on my neck, I feel like is the most sensitive. But yeah, so that is my Westport pullover. Pattern is out now. You can go check my description. I'll have a link to the pattern. And thank you, MJ Knits or LS Knitwear, for letting me test knit for her. I very much appreciated it. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below in the comment box. Give a like and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Okay, bye.